Welcome back to the Freelancers Tea Break, the short and sweet podcast you can enjoy whilst you're making a cuppa. And in this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about some of the ways that I use Notion in my freelance business. So, first of all, this is my Notion board. Some of it will be blurred for obvious reasons. I don't want some of my clients' information shared and things like that. So, this is my Notion board. It's not the prettiest, but it's functional and it works for me. At the top, I have my word of the year. I have my main content pillars, sales funnel, just sort of a reminder of things like that. My big goals for the year. And then this is the first thing I track every Monday with my wonderful assistant. We go through all of the things that numbers that I need to track that week. So, for example, you've got Instagram here. I've got it set up so that I've got the number I'm currently at and the goal and what percentage I'm at. It automatically works that out for me, lovely. But they've got all sorts in here. I've got discovery calls, clients signed on. I think I've got my email somewhere in there, like my mailing list. So I track all these numbers because it shows me what works, what doesn't. Like, for example, I reviewed TikTok recently. It's not really working for me. So I'm not going to be pushing as much. I'm still going to be on there using it, but I'm not going to be making that my top priority. Whereas, say, Instagram and LinkedIn do much better. So tracking is the very first thing I use Notion for every Monday. Next, this is the ideas bar. And this is actually something that if you have listened to my previous episode with Ange Carnes, we talked a lot about the ideas barn and what we do with all of the ideas. So I have a virtual one. She has one that she's created. She's got a whole workbook and membership on it. So I really recommend going and having a look at that episode. But any ideas that I have that I need to work on more, they go into the seed barn and then I can move them to planted, ready to harvest. So I do track all those ideas there. And then we've got basically the tasks. So I use this with my team so we can assign tasks. Let's see if I've got an example. So like with my book project, I can track all of that. So you can go into these and add in a lot more detail. But basically it allows me to see where I'm at with everything. Is it in progress? What's the deadlines? Some of these I definitely need to update a little bit. But this allows me to see at a glance where I'm at with all the tasks, where my team are. It also links to Slack. So I get updates every time somebody's ticked something off or changed the status or updated it. I don't tend to go in and micromanage that at all, but it just helps me just get an overview of what's going on. So there's also my quarterly goals. I do tend to track those, and that tends to be an element of tracking my numbers and also where my tasks are going. I have my standard operating procedures down here. So, for example, when I'm doing a course, I've got in this section here all of the steps that I need to take. And in each one is checklists as well. So I think I might have it in this one. But yes, it basically allows me to have checklists for each stage so I can work through it and I don't have to remember bits. So I've got operating procedures there for course creation, Facebook group management, podcasts. I've got more onboarding. And the great thing is as well, is it means that if I have someone new join the team, they can access that straight away. And I just have, just for at a glance use, seeing what the price points are and what my main things are. So the next thing I use is this business development calendar. This is actually a free template I have. I'll pop in the notes. Basically what it is a way for me to track my weekly pitching, so how I'm going to find clients. So first of all, you can put details of your current coaching clients in here. This is an example one, so it's not got any personal details in. So you can say coaching, you could put your clients in here. You could put in discovery calls. You could even add in a new column. And it could be like checking in 3-6 months. You can put deadlines on them and then it will set you reminders as well. And then this is based on my framework of the 4 ways to find clients. So networking, pitching, social media, and referrals. And in each section, I've got basically all of the things that I could be doing to find clients. And it's really useful because it means when I'm sometimes having those weeks where I'm like, I can't think what I'm going to do, I can go in and choose one of these things, and I can add myself in a deadline. More often than not, I will just go in. I've got it synced with Sunsama, so I can just pull it in that task, and it just makes it so much easier. So that's the business development calendar that I use. The final bit here is incoming clients. I've got it automatically set up with Dovetail. So every time I get someone who has signed up for a discovery call, it will automatically add them in to this table on Notion, which makes it really nice and easy to use. Because I've got a bit in there about where they find me, it adds it into there, which is really useful for tracking what's working. And then I can assign it to myself. Do I need to check in? So if I need to check in say 3-6 months, I can add in a deadline. I can put more information in there, and then I can change the status of where we're at with them and what kind of the result was. So call booked through a form would be that they were booked in for a session. Facebook group might be that it's not the right time for them, but we've mentioned it on there. So I tend to categorize it just so that I know what's worked, what's not, and this also works alongside my tracking. So this is a really nice, easy automation that makes my life a lot easier. So that's just a few of the ways that I use Notion in my business. If you're intrigued and want to know more, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. It's not perfect, but it works for me, and it's something that I'm able to use consistently with my team. So I hope it helps you. Have a wonderful freelance week.